Okay, hello there. Welcome along. My name is Tom Wood. I'm one of the tutors with Functional Skills UK. Had quite a few learners who have just been a little bit anxious, a little bit concerned about what it is like to sit their maths exam online. So what I've done is I'm just going to do a bit of a walkthrough in terms of how to set up a mock exam on your computer, so you can get used to what the system will look like. Also, to give you a bit of a video tour of it as well. So it may be that you don't even have to install any of the players, anything like this in advance. But just so you have a bit of an idea as to what we're going to be really looking into. So I'm going to start then as if this was for my learners, and I'm going to start by introducing you to the Google Classroom and where the resource can be found on here. If you're not using the Google Classroom, then please do not worry. This document can be made readily available to you from Functional Skills UK, so no problems there. So if you're using the Classroom, what we're going to do, we're going to scroll all the way down here, and then we are going to go to our course review. I'm going to click on computer exam information here, and then we're going to open up this Functional Skills online practice guide. Now, this document, again, if you're not using Google Classroom, you can get this from Functional Skills UK. Just ask and they'll pop that over for you. So it's got a bit of information here. And then what we want to do is, as you can see here, if we click here, this is going to download the sample player. So when you install this, it will install into a C drive. I'll show you where this goes on its own. For some reason, when I installed it and I tried to change the location of wherever I installed it, it then kind of wasn't letting me open the documents for some reason. Might have just been a slight error with my computer, but all we want to do, we want to click on there. That's going to then install into the computer, and we're ready to go. Nice small file there. What we then want to do is go to this link here. So obviously, if you are doing your English papers and you want to get a bit of a view for that, then it's this link. But we're going to go to this second link here, and we're going to open up the link and download one of the past papers. So there are, I believe, 11 on there that you can download. They're just a zip file, so you can download them from there. So once we have downloaded these, then I will just share a different screen with you now, so you can see what this will look like. So once we have downloaded them, they should go to your downloads folder like this. And then what we can do from here, you can obviously access the sample player there, get this set up and installed. And then if you unzip the Maths Online screen test, when we go into here, you've got your mark scheme. So if you want to obviously mark the exam yourself, that's absolutely fine. You can go through that and give yourself some feedback. Again, this is mainly so people are getting used to the actual exam more than anything. And then you can see here, we've got the actual folder or the actual online test. Now, to actually get this to open, what we're going to do, we're going to double click on this. And then you can see here, for me, it loads up with TPO straight away. When I first opened this, that didn't come up. What you need to do is go into more apps. You're going to scroll down, and then we've got to have a little bit of a hunt and a little bit of a finding of the folder. So if you just install it to its generic location, then it will go into program files here in the C drive times 86. Again, it may be different on your computer. Just take a note of where the pathway is that it's going to be installed. Into Pearson, sample player, and then you scroll down and we have TPO. So when I double click on that, this is going to open up our exam, our mock exam, and then we're just going to have a little bit of a look through here and just see what this is going to look like. Okay. So let me just make sure that that screen is shared with that as well. Where are we? There we go, test player. Lovely. So you should be able to see the test player screen here then. So it first loads up here in with our non-calculator section. So this is a section that you would start with. Okay. Now, the nice thing that they've done here is there are a couple of buttons down here that we can look into. We're going to have a look into these once we get started. So first of all, I'm just going to click Start Test here. I'm going to start the section. Okay. So you notice there's a bit of a timer at the bottom. That's because I've previously kind of opened this assessment as well. But we get given our first question here. So what we can do, if you want to kind of know a little bit more about any of the buttons, any extra information, you can click on the little question mark tab down there in the bottom left, and it gives you a bit of extra information, which is always useful. There are a couple of key bits that I do want to highlight moving through. So if I get rid of this quickly, you do have the flag icon here. So any questions that you do not know the answer to, or you maybe want to come back and review, you can click the flag button there, and it will then mark it as flagged. And then when you get to the end of the section, it will give you the opportunity to come back and redo that question. We have our kind of pencil or drawing option here. Now, it will only let you use this on questions that require it. I'll show you an example of one of them a little bit later. Now, the great thing that they do have, though, is this bottom left here, you have accessibility settings. So for anyone who is maybe visually impaired or has any kind of additional learner need or just a preference, these are going to be really useful. You can change the background color. So this is very, very useful if maybe you have dyslexia or any, again, visual impairment. So you can change the background colors. You can zoom in, you can zoom out, you can move everything around there. And you've also got a screen reader here as well. So a lot of nice little additions there, which are going to be very, very useful for people. And again, just allow us to have fair accessibility to the materials. So if we look at what we're up against here then, so what we do have is a grid for working out. Now, you can type into here using your keyboard. So obviously that will allow you to type certain numbers in there. And then once we kind of type our values in, you can then drag and drop these symbols across. Some of them do work as well from your keyboard. So, yeah, I can put a plus sign in there. My minus sign works. For some reason, equals doesn't work for me. That's fine. I can just drag and drop that in if I need to. I can then reset my working out as well if I want to. Now, we've got these lines as well that we can put on. So if you are doing maybe a column addition, they've actually set it up like this so you can navigate using the arrow keys as well, as I was just doing there. But if you are doing maybe a column addition, you can actually lay it out as such. So it would be like how you would lay it out on paper, which is absolutely fantastic. You don't have to. You can just, again, you'll have scrap paper with you in the exam, so you can just write down what you want to on some scrap paper and then transfer it onto here when you want to. You also have this as well to show your bus stop method as well, if you wanted to use that. So you can do your 8 there into, I know, 120, and then you can start to work through. So again, they've tried to kind of resemble that as much as possible to help where they can. You don't have to lay it out or use it like that. Again, if you are doing the bus stop method, you might want to just do the bus stop method on a rough piece of paper next to you. That might be faster. And then when it comes to typing it in, again, we can then just type it in as, I know, 8 divided by 2 equals 4. It still shows the sum. It still shows our working. We're still going to get the marks there. One thing I really want to highlight at this point is please remember that these exams are marked by humans, okay? So when we come to the calculator section, you can type kind of language in there, words in there to explain what it is that you're doing as well, but it's not marked by a computer. Some people, that kind of worries them a little bit. What I will do is I'm going to flag this question just so we can see what that will look like moving forward. Okay, we can then load up the next question. And again, we've got our answer boxes here to type in, and we've still got our kind of our working out space here as well. Okay, so we're going to go through these ones now, and that should get us to the end of our part here. So this is the end of the non-calculator section. So what we then get then is we get question 1, question 2, question 3, question 4, and it will just show us if we flag the question, then we can kind of click on that and go back to it. This shows us if we haven't answered them, if we have answered them, etc. Quite nice and straightforward. Now, what you can do is before you complete the section, if you click generate a report, what it will do is it will just generate you an overview. You can then go through and compare with the mark scheme to check your answers if you want to. I would always personally rather just download the exam itself and just view it on my screen than using this kind of format to check the marks. This is more of a video just to show you what you're going to be up against in the actual exam more than anything, so you can get the hang of it and you're not caught off guard. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and complete that section there then, and then we're going to move on to the next section, which is our calculator section. Now, For this one here, we do have our calculator tool, which is here for us. Now, the great thing with this is we can type in whatever sum we want to do. So let's say 89, I know, divide it by 3, why not? So if that was the sum that we wanted to do, it's going to give us this answer, and I can simply click copy to working out box, and it puts it there for me. I can also go through and just type, you know, things like this. Maybe this is the area. So you can just type freely. And again, any examiner will obviously read anything that you put on there. There is the nice additional part here as well. When you click on the side bit here, if you want to use any specific mathematical notation, if I want to write a fraction, I can press this button and then I can type my fraction in there. So again, a lot of useful things here. If I want to do a square root, show that a number is cubed or squared, degrees, all of these kind of things, you can type them in there, okay? So I'm just going to get rid of the calculator there very quickly. Now, the working out box here, again, it's very, very useful. I'm just going to clear that away there. Sometimes we might have to draw, or we might want to kind of draw onto the screen itself. So certain questions will probably be more limited in this regard, but they have found ways around them, as I'll show you in a moment. So one thing you can do, if you click on the pencil, you can use that to draw onto the screen. So in this case here, it says the graph can be used to convert between gallons and litres, convert 60 litres. So what I would do here is click on 60 litres. I'm going to draw a line up here, and then I'm going to measure that off. Now, it's a little bit frustrating because there isn't a ruler tool, which would be more useful, to be honest. If I was drawing on there, if this was on a paper-based exam, I would use a ruler to do this. Again, you're not going to get the extra mark there, but this is just something that you can do. You can use this as a free drawing tool. And again, you can draw wherever you want on the page as well, make additional notes, kind of highlight information if you want to. You can change the size of the pencil and the color from here as well. Okay. So if we move on again here, then there are a couple of other questions on here, but there was one or two in particular that I just wanted to highlight because of how they stand out and are a little bit different. So in this case here, our idea of a scatter diagram. So we've been told here to plot this information on the scatter diagram, first of all. So we've got a height of 1,000 meters and a temperature of -13. So I'm just going to take my X, I'm going to measure across. Okay, well, there's 1,000, and then I've got -13 is down here. A nice little tool there. You can just drag and drop that. It then asks you to draw a line of best fit as well. And what I can do is I can just drag this kind of tool on here, and I'm just going to measure where I kind of want to place it in terms of this as well. So again, it gives you a bit of freedom there to place that on there. And again, any workings out in the working out box as usual. In terms of other questions, I think that is kind of all the types of questions that you're going to potentially see here. So just from clicking through these, all of these are just standard. Use the calculator, calculate the questions, and then work from there. And that is your full exam there. So that is what your exam is going to look like. You can then generate a report here. You can then check and mark your answers. And then if you click on complete the test, it will then take you out back to the main screen there. Okay, so that is a brief run through of what your exam will potentially look like online. Okay, I hope that helps a little bit. The player itself is very easy to install and to download. I've shown you where that is on the classroom, but again, this will be available from Functional Skills as well, should you need that. And I hope that's of use to you. So thank you very, very much for your time, and all the best.